Hey there, Kimberly of Embody-Light. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing much better than I was a couple of weeks ago. I miss you.
I know I miss you too. We kept having scheduling issues, but here we are. So
We are here. And Erik, thank you for being there with me.
mm,
Riding the moose that was right beside me. That was so cool. Well, it was not only cool, it was cold. But
cool.
anyway, all right, let's get started. You wanted to talk about you and Erik, and
Jay.
Jay will talk about, or
Yes.
he's part of it too. We'll talk about past life bleed through, and that's true. You know, a lot of people. For example, I know this one guy who, a young man, all of a sudden at the age of what, I don't know, 28, started having severe anxiety, and I don't know whatever happened to him, but I think that was past life bleed through when he was 28 in another life. Or all of a sudden somebody will become suicidal. Maybe it's bleed through from another life. But anyway, I will let you, Jay, and Erik take the helm.
And Eric's starting out with "Good morning, I love you, Mom." And he said, "Yeah, you're absolutely right. That definitely the young man you were talking about, that was the case with him."
Wow. Okay.
But so over the past, oh gosh, month, 2 months maybe, Erik and Jay have been working with me, and what we're going to talk about is these past life bleed throughs. So what's been happening is many years ago, going back, I had the inkling after reading a book that I was one of the women in Salem convicted of witchcraft.
Oh, God.
But I never knew for sure. So then but it just kind of resonated because I've always kind of been afraid to show my intuitive side, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So it did resonate. So then some years went by, maybe 5, and I was having a cranial sacral session with someone who was very intuitive.
Well, what is that? What is a cranial sacral session?
Sacral, it's body work, and what they're trying to do is move the cerebral spinal fluid kind of with their hands. And
okay.
Yeah, it's very soothing and relaxing and healing.
Okay.
So I was doing that, and all of a sudden I start smelling burning flesh and burning hair. And I got
barbecue time.
They branded me like they would with animals on my chest. I still have the rash on my chest. It gets worse when I press. It's a past life bleed through. So I knew it then. That was maybe 10 years ago or so, but I didn't know who I was. And you know, you hear these things and you're not really sure. Well, so then, you know, since I've met Erik and kind of gotten reacquainted with Jay, bits and pieces of that lifetime have been filling back in over the past few months.
Okay.
And Erik is telling me that this is actually very common, because he said you could look at past lives, you know, there aren't really past lives. He said it's more like a continuum.
Okay.
He says that I and these other individuals in that time chose to come back together in this lifetime to clear up some really nasty unfinished business and karma.
Oh, that's awful. You know, didn't they used to also like put witches in a burlap sack full of live cats and drown them? That can't be fun. Oh.
I know what they did during the time that I was there was this swimming test where they threw you into the water and they thought witches could float. So if you floated and swam, it was proven you were a witch and you were convicted and killed. And if not, you drowned. Either way, you lost.
Oh, no.
Either way, you died. Yeah. Terrible. I knew about that. Yeah. And so, you know, I had these little inklings. So then over the last few months, driving to work, the bits and pieces have been filling in. And what I actually found out was that my name was Sarah Good.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, right. There were a few killed before her, but then there was this big, massive amount of people that were killed. I'm not exactly sure on how many. And so I was the first amongst them.
Okay.
So I got this information from a variety of 3 different sources intuitively.
Mm-hmm.
I then went to one of the other channeling Erik psychic mediums and had a session, and I said, this is what I know, this is what I know, this is what I know. She helped me to fill in the details because I had some of the facts mixed up through Erik. And then I went online and looked up some of the documentaries and stuff. So one of the individuals I worked with, and this person was in the many jobs I've had over the years, was in like a position of power over me, was actually the judge and the executioner in that lifetime. In this lifetime, he still holds a position of power over people. I actually looked up on a documentary. It showed a picture of him in that lifetime. You can tell it's him. They have the same eyes.
Oh my God. Well, what was he like? What is he like? Or what was he like as your supervisor or whatever?
Many people were afraid of him because he had the final word and everybody thought he was unreasonable and that kind of thing. And he was the kind of person that would fly off the handle really easily, but he was always very kind to me. I never had any problems with him, but others did.
Okay.
And it was kind of interesting. This was a little bleed through. You know, one of the things that happened in that lifetime was, okay, so they show this picture of me and I look like I'm a 70-year-old woman. That's not a picture of her because Sarah Good was actually expecting a child. She was pregnant when she was convicted.
Oh no.
They let her live until the child was born, and they took the child from her. They lied and said it was adopted. However, she was a healer and a psychic medium. She knew better. I mean, she had a little bit of an inkling of a doubt, but she knew better.
Yeah.
She didn't think the child died.
Oh.
So I happened to mention to it, you know, and all these years, I really blame my mother for this fear I had that my children would be taken, that they would either be killed or be taken away, because my mother kept kind of shoving that down my throat.
Wait, why?
My mother's another person in that lifetime.
Oh, okay.
My mother was the nun who took the baby in that lifetime.
Okay.
And my mother was raised very Catholic, and she would always say things like, I don't want God to punish me by taking my children. Or they tell us these horror stories of somebody who quit going to Catholic church and one of their kids would get hit by a car or something like that.
God.
They believe these things. My parents
geez.
did. So that's why my mother had this theme going. If you're bad, they'll take your children. If you're bad, they'll take your children. Wow. So that was a little trigger for me all of my lifetime. She always said that. So anyways, when I was talking to this man one day, I was saying how they would die in their sleep. I mean, it was horrible. I wouldn't sleep at night or that something would happen to him. And he just talked to me very lovingly, very calmly, very reassuring. There's a very, very, very slight chance that that would ever happen. And that tone of voice with him was very untypical. I didn't think anything of it then, but now I recognize that he, on some level, knew that he was responsible for that fear in me. I also worked with my husband in that lifetime. What happened was we had a 4-year-old daughter. Oh, that first daughter that was taken, let me go back to that, and given up for adoption. She is my oldest daughter in this lifetime. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You listen to this. Our last name was Good in that lifetime. She married into the Good family. It's the same bloodline, the same.
Oh my God.
Medium confirmed it.
Does she know any of this?
She doesn't know any of this yet. No.
Oh.
I don't think she'd understand. She's not quite there in consciousness yet.
Oh, okay. I hope she doesn't. Does she watch the? She doesn't watch these
someday. Right? She was really intuitive when she was little, but it scared her.
Yeah.
For us, so it turned it off. Her first child, I don't want to say names, but it's a goddess name, and the last name is Good. So it's like she's rebirthing the divine feminine through this family line that was torn apart and destroyed in this. So that's one interesting fact.
Wow.
The other daughter I had was 4 years old. Her name was Dorothea. She was also accused and jailed for witchcraft.
At 4?
Some of the stories at 4 years old, some of the stories I read said that it was believed she confessed so she could be with me. And Erik's saying, yes, that's true, but she was accused by the same girls that accused you, but she agreed to it and said yes so that she could be with you. She was let go after 8 months or so, mainly because I wasn't there to care for her any longer and they didn't want to be burdened with her.
So what happened to her? She couldn't take care of herself at between 4 and 5 years old.
She, well, all the women, we were all, it looked like in one cell from the vision I saw, and we were chained. They had to make her special chains because she was so small. So when she went back to live with her father, my husband at that time, after my death, she was never the same again, could never function in life. She was always fearful. She couldn't be left alone. That child, she's the one, she came in, it was a very difficult birth and she came in very traumatized and she's been traumatized ever since. I always blamed myself for the difficulty in the birth.
No.
That wasn't it. It was that lifetime.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a relief for me. I could let that go because I always thought I was the cause of her problems.
Well, how is she doing
children
now?
Too, they were a little,
How is she doing now? Is she?
She's still pretty traumatized.
But
the other medium told me she will come around and she will turn this around. But right now she's still living.
Well, maybe she needs past life regression. She probably needs a past life regression, but she's not open to it probably.
She's interested in it, but it scares her. I've done body work on her before, and she, she's felt a lot better. But she was really afraid. It took a lot for her. What
does she think she's afraid of? Does she know about this life? That life?
She doesn't. She's very traumatized. Her dad and I started with her dad and I getting divorced when she was small, and just a number of things growing up. She
that
really
triggered.
Hard time.
Yeah, triggered all the other memories probably. I mean,
right. The other thing was, she seemed to be more of a needy baby and very clingy to me. And it was always funny. The older two children have always kind of blamed me for her struggles because they say I coddled her too much.
Oh boy.
Well, now that explains why I coddled her too much.
Yeah.
If it was too much, I didn't.
Yeah. No, there's no such thing. Sorry.
Right. So then the next person, another individual I worked with was my husband in that lifetime. And we didn't know it, but both of us recognized there was some kind of special bond between us, like reading each other's thoughts, that kind of thing, but we didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
He, in that lifetime, actually, he was doing the same kind of thing, the healing work, but he was more undercover. He actually threw me under the bus to deflect the guilt from him.
Oh my God, what a betrayal.
Yeah. He's the same way in this lifetime, to the point where I didn't know where this came from. If somebody betrays me, that's it, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That's where that stems from. Yeah.
So are y'all still married?
Oh, I'm not married to the first husband. I'm married
got it.
I'm on my second marriage. Yeah.
Got it.
I was married for the first time. We had 3 children. We got divorced. We were way too young when we got married.
Yeah.
And then I got married the second time. We had 2 more children and we're still married.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Yeah. So there was her. There was the husband. There were the other 2 that I've identified there were 3 little girls making the accusations. 2 of them I know.
Oh, God.
In this lifetime. One of them is a friend of one of our children. She grew up in this neighborhood. And I'll tell you, that girl is still causing trouble to this day, gossiping, causing trouble. Erik even said, she's one you want to have behind you or in front of you and not behind you because you want to
wow.
going. She's
I
still.
hope I'm not one of them. I'm not one of the kids.
You're not one of them. No, you're not. I did ask Erik, I said, did you and your mom ever have any kind of thing like this? And he said Spanish Inquisition is what he told me.
Wow, that makes sense.
Yeah. So one of the girls is my daughter's friend. The other one was another co-worker who, and this was a job a long time ago. She was constantly trying to cause problems for me at work, with little stupid piddly things.
Yeah.
And the supervisor just wasn't having it because, my work is fine. She was being ridiculous. We actually had to get HR in there, and because she'd done this to so many other people, but she was really intense with me. Warn her if she didn't knock it off, she could just start looking for another job. Yeah. And this was another one of the little girls. And actually, her and I shared another past lifetime that she was actually retaliating against me for in Salem. But her and I actually kind of became friends at the end. We came to a mutual understanding and kind of a friendship, a work relationship.
Okay. In this life, right? In this life.
Mm-hmm. In this life.
Okay, she doesn't know, obviously, about, of course she doesn't.
She doesn't know about Salem, but the lifetime before that, again, a cranial sacral session, a different one I was having, because sometimes you see images of things. I am seeing myself like in a long robe, sandals, running in the desert, running for my life. All of a sudden, this girl sneaks up on me, and there's a knife in my back. And so the healer I was working with helped me with this. What it was I was a healer in that lifetime. Her child was sick. She brought her child to me way too late, and the child ended up not making it. Oh. And so she was so grief-stricken, she blamed me, and she stabbed me. So in the Salem lifetime, that energy continued where she wanted to get even, where she blamed me for the death of her child. And so she was one of the accusers.
Yeah.
And so it just continues. They're all still playing the same roles. I was just shocked.
Wow.
And look at this lifetime, so then I decided I'd be a nurse and do healing legitimately.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and then right away, and Erik's telling me, people will know too, little inklings like in my childhood, like that show Bewitched. I love that, and I wanted to be a witch so bad when I grew up. I wanted those powers, yeah. This was also a past life bleed through. I was about 5 years old. My mother brought us to the dentist. It was this old creepy guy that I did not like. And she leaves the room, and he tells me if I don't start taking better care of my teeth, I was going to have a smile like an old witch.
Oh.
I was just furious. And I told my mother she wouldn't do anything. I was furious with her for not telling him to keep his mouth shut. You don't talk to my daughter like that or whatever. So, years went by. I never thought anything of it. Then it was the summer Jay died. I got a toothache, 2 teeth fractured.
Oh.
Jay told me, no, it was from Salem when you were in captivity. Somebody smashed you in the face, broke your teeth, and told you there, now you'll have a smile like that, like an old witch.
Was that was the dentist probably?
I asked the other medium, well, that's what I asked, and she said, no, that was his brother.
Oh, wow.
Life. Yeah.
Well, people were beasts back then. I swear to God.
I know. And go ahead.
If you have all these patterns in the family, what do? Do you go to the Akashic Records and snip the cords of the spiritual DNA to stop? Or does everybody get regress? What approach do you take in circumstances like this? And I bet this is the case in a lot of families that have a lot of dysfunction, a lot of toxic family members, etc.
Exactly. And Eric's saying, yes, that is true. And Eric's saying, yes, that is one thing that you could do. You could do those things. But he said, mainly, what it's about is that you to work things out differently so that you get it right this time.
Oh, yeah.
He said, because, okay, so these individuals I worked with, by appearances, my human brain kept saying, why do I have to? Because they would do jerky things, just normal jerky thing. Why do I have to walk against my tormentors? I don't understand. Why do I have to do that? It felt like a punishment. And what it actually was these people were there in support because I was supposed to reclaim, because a part of me has been lost from that lifetime because I was so afraid of it. I'm supposed to reclaim all of my power, all of my energy in this lifetime. So, excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. So by me remembering these things and taking the appropriate action, because these other beings, what they did was they were there, they planted the seed that you need to leave. This is not right for you. They were the catalyst that got me to leave to study alternative therapies, realizing that I didn't want to play their game and be in that field anymore. Yeah. They were the catalyst. They actually helped me. And the one job, here was even a sign, the one job that was especially awful, they gave us combination locks for our lockers. My combination lock was Jay's birthday, 8/26. It was 67, but combinations don't go up that high. It was 13. Okay. 6 and 7, 13. So that just showed me they were really, that's the fifth dimensional way of looking at it, that they're there as support to remind you to reclaim your energy, to take your power back, and to move on. They were there holding the space, holding the memories, so that I could heal them and move forward. Because Eric's telling me, really, I asked for this. When I decided that I wanted, and I came in to be a psychic medium healer type person anyways, but when I made the conscious decision in my human experience and asked for help to learn how to be a psychic and do healings and things, he said, I had all of this stuck in my field, blocking me, creating doubt. And he said, until you remembered it and integrated it and healed it, you would always be blocked. You would always be clouded. You would always be filtered. He says, and so what? This was 1692 when I died, a long time ago. And he says, I've made peace. I haven't even remembered it all yet. Some of it's got to come in pieces because it's pretty horrific. Oh, yeah. He says, I've made peace with a lot of those individuals, but he says what I'm still struggling with is the ones that harmed my children. Yeah. And also just seeing that your children aren't there yet, that they're struggling from that. It must be hard. So, Erik, what do you tell, families out there said, wait a minute, I have a dysfunctional family and my brother's super toxic, my sister's this, these people are estranged, they won't talk to my mom anymore, or whatever. What do you tell them? How can they first find out? How do they find out if this came from something like the Salem Witch Hunt or something? It doesn't have to be some historical famous thing, but what do you do? Well, he's saying in that case, the quickest and easiest, if you wanted to find that out, would be a past regression. Okay. He said, otherwise, you're just going to kind of start asking questions, paying attention to the synchronicities and look for the answers. He's saying that's what I was doing. And then when my mind was quiet and I wasn't focused on it, when I was driving to work, the thought would pop in. That blah, blah, blah. Oh, that was the judge and the executioner, and go, oh, that makes perfect sense. Or like with my mother, that's why she was so, God will punish you and take your babies. It was a trigger to remind me.
Well, that's not cheating though, is it? I mean, you still want to relive that life, but make it a good ending. I mean, work it out this time right, get your power back, all that stuff. But those kind of clues are super helpful.
They give you clarity and they give you understanding. Just one thing that came out in the reading I had, you know, because now I'm trying to every little dysfunction. I'm thinking, yep, I bet they were there in Salem doing this, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, of course not.
One of my children has always been real competitive with me. It's really funny. She's always trying to one-up me. It's actually kind of hilarious because I don't get into power struggles or competitive.
Oh, God, really?
But she's always doing that, and I didn't understand where that was coming from. And I said, so was that it from Salem too? And she said, oh, no, that's a completely different thing. You were sisters in one lifetime. And she says, for some reason, and I know what the reason is, most of your lifetime you've chosen to play the good person, the good role, the good girl.
Oh.
And it's always bugged your daughter.
Yeah.
So she's always trying to get you.
So she was like the black sheep compared to you in other lifetimes. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
well, I mean, what are you going to do
and
about
what
your
it
daughter?
was is, you know, it goes back to that Salem lifetime. Because, you know, my thinking is, okay, if you just walk the line, be good, they won't kill you, you know. They can't hurt you. And so that's why I've been like that all of these lifetimes.
Wow, interesting. So what are you going to do about your kids? Are you ever going to like come clean to them and say, this is what's going on? Or
when the right time comes up, yeah. When the right time comes up, some of them would listen, some of them wouldn't.
Yeah.
The other interesting, Eric's saying I'm just gonna have to play it by ear, and when little things come up in conversation, plant the seed. And he says eventually they will. But then the other very unique thing is during my reading with this other medium, I said, I think I'm gonna write a book about this. And
yes.
And I said, but how in the world could I do that? Because most people are still alive.
Yeah.
And then Erik popped in. Erik helped. And he said, because you're going to make it like a fiction.
Oh, that's good.
With similar circumstances and similar people, maybe rather than in clinic and hospital settings, maybe work in a law firm or a factory.
Yeah.
And then he reminded me when I first met Erik last summer and approached you, you know, he spent all that time with me in the beginning so I could get to know him.
Yeah.
One of the people he was bringing through was Robin Williams. And Robin Williams helped me to write that little, remember when I was telling you how energy worked and we made up the story about Jonathan on the radio, about the energy flow and all that. Well, that was Robin Williams helping me with that.
Wow.
Robin Williams will help me in this book that I write, and I've already started it, to make up fictitious characters that fit the part.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of thing.
Good. Now, Michelle, my second eldest, who was very close to Erik, it was a love-hate relationship, though. She apparently, a psychic said that she had 5 children during the Holocaust, and one of them was my youngest, Annika, and they took her kids away and killed them all or whatever. And she killed herself by just forcing herself into an electric fence. So I wonder if she probably has still some trauma from that. I mean, she knows all about that. And it's really weird because right after Annika was born, she got super negative. I mean, she was always so happy. And that's when we discovered in a recent reading with Raylene, I think, that she had a negative attachment. And that negative attachment may be because her energy was kind of low because she was triggered by the appearance of Annika. And then also right after that, she broke her leg in Norway. So those two things happened, and then bush, negativity. So I don't know. Is there still any trauma going on there?
Erik is saying some, but she's working it out. He's saying by her remembering it, that's helpful. He's saying it would show up. Some of the things to watch for, he's saying, especially, you know, not just specifically with, he's talking about his sister, but for other people who have been through that Holocaust situation, one of the things you're going to watch for is food. They may have issues with food.
Really?
Because they were starving. They may hoard food. They may not eat food. They may eat too much. So they may struggle with weight issues. He said that's one clue.
And eating disorders too?
Eating disorders.
Okay.
Yes. He said that's another clue. Way it's probably going to show up with her is she unusually overprotective of her children?
No.
No.
Not really. No, she's
not really. Okay.
No,
So then Eric's saying, so then that would tell you that she's come a long way, because if she still had issues, she would.
Oh, I bet.
It would be so bad that like if
wow.
dad wanted to take him in the car to the store, she wouldn't let him.
Yeah, yeah.
He said it would be that severe. So he said she's worked through that, but he's talking about, and I don't know if he means specifically with her, but with a lot of people. The food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what about what's clues to people that they've been in the Salem Witch Hunt, or we can do also the Spanish Inquisition, the Crusades, any of those horrific, or we can just do those, I guess, or any kind of historic horrific event.
He's saying a lot of it is a big fear around religion, spirituality, intuition, that kind of thing. He's saying like a lot of people who are really fearful that, people who just live by fear that God's going to punish them. So they're very religious and that kind of thing. He said that is a very big defense mechanism so that it doesn't happen again. Okay. Because they're terrified.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. He says it's a matter of, you can go back and look at what it was that happened in that past life, and it gives you clarity. But really what it is, you're here to work those things out in this lifetime.
Yeah. But then you have that
one coworker with her and I made peace.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't, and all of these coworkers, I mean, there were no negative situations. We didn't leave hating each other. We always had a mutual respect. But Erik is saying, for me, and now I am starting to finally sleep now that I've quit working.
Oh,
but
good.
Erik is saying, for me, I was never comfortable. I was always in a state of hyper alert, and I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Oh, geez, that's torture.
It was. He said I had such a state of anxiety going that it was, he's just kind of saying it was really something else. He's saying, he's actually telling me that I need about 3 months. He told me this through the other medium too, to decompress from nursing jobs, just because I've done it for so long. So that I'm just supposed to kind of rest and take it easy. One other thing he's telling me, I'm glad I remember this. Right when I first started my ascension process, I kept having the feeling that I should write things down. Maybe I'd write a book someday, but I didn't know what it was about. Well, then all of a sudden I start writing poetry. I had never written poetry in all of my life, but once I started doing yoga and doing all these meditation, all these spiritual practices, I wanted to write poetry. So I had just finished my hypnotherapy training, and I needed a book for an adoption situation, a child I was looking for. I couldn't find one, so I tried to write this poem, and I made it into a book. But anyways, the poem was bought, it was made into a song, which never became anything. But this poem that I wrote, it was like it was stuck inside of me, and it was driving me crazy until I could get out. And what it was about adoption, and it was about the Chinese red thread legend. And basically it says, you know, you meet whoever you're destined to meet, and you're connected by this invisible red thread. And so I write this poem about it, and it's about adoption, and it's really good. And first I make it into a book, then these people buy it and they make it into a song, which nothing became of it. But I always wondered, where did that come from? I must just be really good at imagining what it would be like to give up a baby for adoption, because it's the kind of poem where people, I mean, goosebumps run through you and people sob. Yeah. And I never knew where it came from.
Who sent it to me?
And now I finally realized it's from that experience when my baby was taken and given up for adoption. It was what I wanted to say to her before they took her from me.
Wow. So that, that's interesting. So when you get this transcribed, can you put that poem at the end so I can include it in the post if you want? You know, that'd be cool.
Yes, I can.
All right. So anything else, Erik, that you want to share for people who are like, oh my God, maybe I'm going through this whole same thing, and then we'll close.
He's saying that it's all about making peace with these people, what you would consider your tormentors or your irritators, that type of thing, in the now.
Yeah.
And reclaiming your energy. He's saying, you know, these past lives, it's just a continuum. They're still playing out the same roles. The people who were dysfunctional are still playing out dysfunctional roles they haven't learned.
Yeah.
He said that is not your problem. Other people's roles, what it is how you react. So once you change your reaction to it, he said your reality changes.
So you don't have to have.
Otherwise, if you get stuck in playing.
Oh,
I'm sorry, you were cutting out.
No, go ahead.
He said, otherwise, if you don't, you just keep looping back and forth like a game with other people playing dysfunctional games. You know, just keep circling back and forth. But what you do is you take the appropriate action, you do your forgiveness work, reclaim your power. You may need to walk away from people, that type of thing. Once you do that, it changes your reality.
So really, you don't have to know about the other life. You could just do that with anybody who is like, seems to be tormenting you or robbing you of your power. Any other things like quantum healing, going to the Akashic Records, you know, any other kind of things you recommend for people?
Those kind of things help. He's talking about,
I mean, going to the other dimension, right? So you can meet these people who were with you in the other life, and working things out there might help, and clipping the cords.
That might help too. He's saying that can help. He's talking about rose quartz.
Okay.
Rose quartz. It's a very soft, loving stone. And the other thing he's saying, quite often what you're going to find is these people that you perceive as being your enemy, they're playing the duality role to trigger you so that you can move on and heal, whatever. So basically, you know, they are kind of doing you a little favor by jabbing you, pushing your buttons.
Yeah, relationship villains. I mean, like the little sun and the soul.
Right.
Or the little soul and the sun. It was, yeah, that's right. The little soul and the sun, that whole thing. Like, if you want to learn about forgiveness, I'll incarnate with you and I'll betray you. But please, please don't forget that I'm doing this because I love you, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Exactly. He's saying that's exactly what it's right. And he's saying, so heal your wounds, make your peace in the now. And he says, if the other party just won't play nice, he said, if you pray for him, send him white light.
And walk away.
It almost eventually always wins them over and softens them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Erik. Thank you, Kim. You guys can get in touch with Kim at embody-light.com. Really check out her website because she has so much to offer. Thank you, Erik. I love you very much.
I love you too, Mama. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
I'll talk to you later tonight. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.